The right to self-defense is a fundamental principle in international law. For Israel, this right is a daily reality. Israel faces threats from Hamas, which seeks its destruction. Hamas launches rockets into Israeli civilian areas. Israel has the right to defend its citizens. International law recognizes this right. Supporting Israel's self-defense acknowledges its right to exist. Hamas's ideology and tactics pose a significant obstacle to peace. The group's charter explicitly calls for Israel's destruction. This fundamentalist ideology leaves little room for compromise or coexistence. Hamas rejects any negotiations with Israel and views any concessions as a sign of weakness. Hamas's use of human shields is a particularly egregious tactic. The group deliberately places its military infrastructure and operatives among civilians. This cynical strategy puts Palestinians in harm's way and makes it extremely difficult for Israel to target military objectives without causing civilian casualties. The international community must hold Hamas accountable for its actions. Funding and support for Hamas only serve to perpetuate the cycle of violence. The group's terrorist activities must be condemned, and pressure must be exerted for them to renounce violence and recognize Israel's right to exist. The people of Gaza deserve better than Hamas's rule. They deserve a future free from violence and oppression. The path to achieving this future requires a rejection of Hamas's extremism and a commitment to peaceful dialogue. The narrative often overlooks Israel's repeated efforts to achieve peace. Israel has consistently demonstrated its willingness to make painful concessions. These efforts have often been met with rejection and violence. In 1993, Israel signed the Oslo Accords, recognizing the PLO. The Oslo Accords were a significant step toward a two-state solution. However, the peace process faltered due to continued violence. The media's portrayal of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict often neglects crucial aspects of Israeli society. Contrary to the image often presented, Israel is a vibrant democracy that upholds the rule of law and protects the rights of all its citizens, including its Arab minority. Israel is a multicultural nation where Arabs and Jews live and work together. Arab citizens of Israel have full rights and enjoy a high standard of living. They participate in all aspects of Israeli society, including government, business, and academia. Despite the ongoing conflict, Israel provides humanitarian aid to Gaza. This aid includes food, medicine, and other essential supplies. Israel allows the transfer of goods and services to Gaza, even though Hamas diverts many of these resources to support its military infrastructure. The international community should recognize Israel's commitment to human rights and its efforts to alleviate the suffering of Palestinian civilians. Promoting dialogue and understanding between Israelis and Palestinians is essential for building a lasting peace. Focusing solely on the negative aspects of the conflict hinders progress and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. Section 5. Unmasking bias. The media's portrayal of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The media plays a crucial role in shaping public opinion. However, the media's coverage of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is often biased and lacks historical context. This skewed reporting perpetuates misconceptions and hinders efforts to achieve a just and lasting peace. One common form of bias is the tendency to present the conflict as a symmetrical one between two equal sides. This ignores the significant power imbalance between Israel, a modern state with a strong military, and Hamas, a terrorist organization. This false equivalence distorts the reality on the ground. Another form of bias is the selective reporting of events. The media often highlights Palestinian casualties while downplaying or ignoring Israeli victims of terrorism. This creates a perception that Israel is the aggressor, even when it is acting in self-defense. The media has a responsibility to report on the conflict accurately and fairly. Journalists should strive to provide context, highlight the complexities of the situation, and avoid simplistic narratives that demonize one side while romanticizing the other. From the ashes of the Holocaust, Israel's birth, and the 1948 war. The establishment of Israel in 1948 was a direct result of the Holocaust. 6 million Jews were killed, highlighting the need for a Jewish state. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War followed Israel's declaration of independence. The war displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, known as the Nakba. Section 7. International Solidarity, standing with Israel. Israel enjoys strong support from various countries worldwide, particularly the United States. These alliances are rooted in shared values, strategic interests, and a commitment to upholding international law. The United States has been a steadfast ally of Israel since its inception, providing military, economic, and diplomatic support. This alliance is based on shared democratic values and a commitment to countering terrorism. The US recognizes Israel's right to defend itself against hostile actors like Hamas. The US also plays a vital role in mediating peace negotiations and promoting regional stability. European countries have increasingly recognized the threat posed by terrorism and the importance of supporting Israel. Germany, in particular, has deepened its ties with Israel, driven by a sense of historical responsibility and a shared commitment to fighting anti-Semitism. International solidarity with Israel is crucial for promoting peace and stability in the Middle East. The international community must stand firm against terrorism, uphold Israel's right to self-defense, and work towards a just and lasting solution to the conflict. Section 8. The two-state solution. A viable path forward. The two-state solution, involving the creation of an independent Palestinian state alongside Israel, has long been the preferred framework for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This solution envisions two states for two peoples, each with its own sovereignty and the ability to determine its own future. However, the path to achieving a two-state solution is fraught with challenges. The ongoing violence, the lack of trust between the parties, and the complexities of final status issues such as borders, Jerusalem, and refugees pose significant obstacles. Hamas's control of the Gaza Strip further complicates the situation. The group's rejection of Israel's right to exist and its commitment to armed struggle make it an unreliable partner for peace. A viable two-state solution requires a Palestinian leadership that is willing to renounce violence and engage in meaningful negotiations. Despite the difficulties, the international community should continue to support the two-state solution as the most viable path to achieving a just and lasting peace. This requires a renewed commitment from both sides to engage in good faith negotiations and to make the necessary compromises for peace. Section 9. The stakes for global security beyond the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not just a regional issue, it has global ramifications. The ongoing conflict destabilizes the Middle East, fuels extremism, and hinders international cooperation. The rise of radical groups like ISIS has demonstrated the dangers of unchecked extremism. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, if left unresolved, risks further fueling this dangerous trend. The conflict also diverts resources and attention away from other pressing global challenges, such as climate change, poverty, and disease. A peaceful resolution would free up resources and allow the international community to focus on these shared threats. The world has a vested interest in seeing a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A just and lasting peace would not only enhance global security, but also unlock the region's vast potential for progress and prosperity. Section 10. A call for peace. The need for dialogue and understanding. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex and emotionally charged issue with a long and painful history. Finding a peaceful resolution requires empathy, understanding, and a willingness to move beyond past grievances. Both sides harbor legitimate fears and aspirations. Israel seeks security and recognition for its existence. Palestinians desire self-determination and an end to the occupation. Acknowledging the other side's narrative is essential for building trust and finding common ground. The international community must encourage dialogue and foster understanding between Israelis and Palestinians. This can be achieved through educational exchanges, cultural diplomacy, and people-to-people initiatives. Breaking the cycle of violence and mistrust is paramount. A lasting peace can only be achieved through dialogue, compromise, and a shared commitment to building a future where Israelis and Palestinians can live side by side in peace and security.